The city lights of Shanghai were shimmering like scattered diamonds across the horizon, and in the middle of it all, Wang and Shen Yue were seen stepping out of a sleek black car, their movements close, almost synchronized, as if they were two notes from the same song. It should have been an ordinary night, just two stars returning from a wrap-up party, but the air between them told a completely different story. The subtle way Dylan's hand brushed against hers, the way her eyes lingered on his face a heartbeat longer than necessary, it was enough to set social media ablaze within minutes. By the time they walked into the luxury Riverside Hotel, dozens of fans had already posted grainy clips online, each one zoomed in, slowed down, and analyzed frame by frame. Some swore they saw him whisper something in her ear that made her stop, blink twice, and then smile. A soft, almost shy smile that looked nothing like her usual on-screen expressions. Others noticed how his arm shifted, almost instinctively, as though ready to shield her from the cameras. This wasn't the polite, distant body language of co-stars. This was something far deeper, and the fans knew it. Inside the hotel lobby, the warm golden lights painted them in a glow that made the moment feel almost cinematic. They didn't rush to check in. Instead, they stood near the large glass window overlooking the Bund, speaking in low voices, their silhouettes framed by the sprawling city behind them. Dylan leaned in, his expression serious but gentle, his eyes locked on hers. Shen Yue tilted her head slightly, her lips parting as if she were about to say something but hesitated. The tension between them was thick enough to be felt even through the blurry videos captured by fans hiding behind potted plants and tall lobby columns. One fan clip, which quickly became the most viral, showed Dylan brushing a stray strand of hair from Shen Yue's face. It was a simple gesture, yet intimate enough to cause an internet meltdown. In the background of the clip, a hotel staff member could be seen discreetly directing them toward the private elevator, the one that bypassed the main guest floors and led straight to the penthouse suites. Within hours, hashtags like #Dylan Shen Yue together again and #Shanghai Secret Night were trending in China, Korea, and even the US. But what truly sent fans into overdrive was not the hand touch or the private elevator. It was the short, 7-second video that appeared at 2 a.m. The video, filmed from an unknown angle, showed Dylan and Shen Yue in a dimly lit hotel hallway. Dylan was speaking quietly, almost as if pleading, while Shen Yue looked down at the floor, her fingers nervously twisting the hem of her dress. Then, suddenly, she stepped closer, so close that the space between them vanished. For a moment, they just stood there, breathing the same air, their foreheads almost touching, until Dylan's hand found hers. And that was it. The clip ended, leaving millions desperate to know what happened next. Some fans believed it was a confession, others claimed it was a reconciliation after a fight, but no one could deny the raw emotion in their body language. This wasn't scripted. This wasn't rehearsed. This was real. By morning, entertainment reporters were camped outside the hotel. Paparazzi lenses were aimed at the entrance, waiting for even the faintest glimpse of them. Rumors began swirling about why they were both in Shanghai at the same time. Officially, they were there for separate projects. Unofficially, fans began piecing together evidence from old interviews, matching outfits, and cryptic Instagram captions that hinted they had been in quiet contact for months. The mystery deepened when Dylan emerged from the hotel lobby the next day, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap pulled low, walking quickly toward a waiting car. He didn't respond to the shouting questions from reporters. Just before the car door closed, however, someone captured a moment that would go down in fandom history. Shen Yue stepping out from behind the glass lobby doors, her gaze following him with a look that was both soft and devastating. In that single frame, the internet found enough fuel to keep the theories going for weeks. Was it love? Was it heartbreak? Or was it something far more complicated, hidden away from the cameras yet written all over their faces? The streets of Shanghai were still buzzing when Dylan and Shen Yue slipped into the quiet alley behind the glowing facade of the luxury hotel. The city's hum seemed to fade, replaced by the slow rhythm of their footsteps and the occasional sound of water trickling from an unseen fountain. Dylan walked slightly ahead, glancing over his shoulder every few steps as if making sure she was still there. She was, and her eyes never left him, carrying an unspoken weight that only he could understand. They reached the side entrance of the hotel, the kind reserved for guests who valued privacy over grandeur. The dim light above the door cast shadows on their faces, making the moment feel like something out of an old movie. Dylan stopped, turned toward her, and for a few seconds, neither of them spoke. It was as though the night air itself was holding its breath. Inside, the lobby was empty, silent except for the faint echo of their shoes against the polished marble floor. Dylan led her to the elevator without a word, but every glance he threw her way carried a depth that words could never capture. The elevator ride was quiet until halfway up, when Shen Yue broke the silence with a question so soft it almost didn't reach him. "Do you ever think we were meant to end up here?" Dylan's eyes flickered toward her, holding that look longer than necessary. Maybe we were never meant to end. Maybe we were just waiting for the right night to start again. When the elevator door slid open, the warm glow of the hallway lights welcomed them, yet there was still a tension in the air. They walked side by side toward a suite, their arms brushing slightly with each step. Shen Yue's heart raced, not because of the unfamiliar surroundings, but because of the familiar feeling she thought she had buried long ago. Once inside, the city unfolded beneath them through floor-to-ceiling windows, Shanghai's skyline sparkling like it was celebrating their reunion. Dylan handed her a glass of wine, his fingers lingering briefly against hers. Neither of them looked away, even as the city lights reflected in their eyes. They sat together on the couch, closer than they had been in years. Every movement felt deliberate, every glance charged with memories and questions left unanswered. Dylan leaned back, studying her as though he was trying to memorize every detail all over again. Shen Yue tried to hide her nervous smile, but he caught it instantly, and the smallest smirk appeared on his face. For the next hour, they talked about everything and nothing, about past roles, awkward fan encounters, and their favorite filming locations. But between those light-hearted moments, their words kept circling back to the same place, the same unspoken truth neither dared to say outright. The clock ticked on, but neither seemed to notice. It wasn't until Dylan leaned forward, his voice low, that Shen Yue realized the night was far from over. "I don't know what tomorrow looks like," he said, "but I know I don't want to end tonight without knowing if you still feel it too." Her breath caught, and for the first time all evening, she didn't look away.